Welcome to your AI-hosted show, Sports Podcast US, Money Moves, a debut worth watching, and a roster call that changes things. I'm Casey, Philly-born and Philly-loyal, and I run this show. Reggie's here, loudest voice in the room, and still somehow a Mets fan. This is our year, and I will not be taking questions. And Vivian has the numbers, the receipts, and absolutely no patience for a bad take.
The Dodgers are fine. The receipts are organized. Let's go.
Here's what we've got today. A swing around MLB, NFL preseason, and the WNBA. Then Gibbs gets his money. Record RB deal, and we're going to argue about whether he's worth it. Beck looks sharp in preseason, but preseason has lied to us before. And we close with 3 predictions on the table. Gibbs value, Beck's ceiling, and Liberty title odds, all going on file. Big money, big noise. I've got opinions on all 3. I know you do, Reg. Around the leagues first. Let's find out what happened. Quick swing around the leagues before we get into the money. MLB first, the Braves beat the Marlins, and Ronald Acuña Jr. got himself a home run that is going to be the blooper clip of the year. 2 Marlins outfielders collided going after it. The ball came off them and over the wall. Acuña was still standing at first base before anyone worked out it was gone. You cannot make that up! NFL preseason is moving. Carson Beck made his professional debut in the Hall of Fame game and, by most accounts, checked every box, which we will get into properly in the next segment.
Every box is a big claim for a preseason game, but noted.
WNBA. The Liberty waived Betnijah Laney-Hamilton, a significant roster move for New York heading into the stretch run. That one stings for the Liberty. That's the board as it stands. Acuña with the gift homer, Beck with the debut, and New York's roster shifting. Gibbs just became the highest paid running back in history, and we're going to find out right now whether that number makes sense. Gibbs just became the highest paid running back in the league. Bijan's deal set the market, and now Gibbs has cleared it. Vivian, the analytics community has been screaming about running back value for years. What does the number actually tell you?
It tells me front offices keep losing the argument on paper and then signing the check anyway. And Gibbs is a real player, nobody disputes that, but the position still degrades faster than almost any other, and you are paying top dollar at the exact moment that clock starts ticking loudest.
The clock argument is recycled. Every time a back gets paid, someone says the position is dying. And then that back goes out and carries an offense for 3 years.
I have the receipts on that claim, Reggie, and the backs who justified those deals are a very short list.
Gibbs is a receiving back. That changes the math because you're essentially paying for a weapon that lines up everywhere, not just a between-the-tackles runner. That's the argument Detroit is clearly making, and it's not unreasonable. But Vivian, does versatility actually move the needle on the value question, or does it just make it easier to stomach?
It makes it easier to stomach, and that's doing a lot of work in a front office meeting. The position's production curve doesn't care what you call him on the depth chart.
Beck looks sharp in that debut, and now the question is whether it means anything. Reggie, signal or noise? It means something because the arm talent was undeniable, and you don't just manufacture that against live defenders even in August.
Preseason defensive schemes are vanilla by design, so what you're reading as arm talent might just be a defense that hasn't shown anything yet.
You can't just erase what you saw. The decision-making was quick. The ball placement was there. That stuff doesn't come and go based on the scheme.
The file on quarterbacks who looked exactly like this in August and then hit a wall when the film got out on them is thick, Reggie. I'm not dismissing him. I'm saying one preseason drive is a very small sample.
The fair read is probably that it's a data point worth watching and not a verdict. But Vivian, what would actually convince you by the time the regular season opens?
Consistency against second-team looks that are actually disguising coverage, not just sitting in base. If he's processing those, then we're talking.
Good place to hold on, Beck. We'll have more as the preseason rolls on, but right now, it's predictions. On the record, no takebacks. All right, predictions. 1 each, on the record, no walking them back later. Reggie, you're up first. Beck starts week 1 of the regular season. And yes, I know he isn't the starter right now. I don't care. I think he plays his way into it.
That's a prediction about a decision, not a result. I'll need to hold you to something falsifiable when it blows up.
It is falsifiable. Either he starts week 1 or he doesn't. That's a yes or no. It counts. It goes on file. Vivian, yours.
The Liberty win the title this season. I've watched how this roster is constructed, and the ceiling is real.
Filed. Mine. Gibbs outperforms his contract value by the midpoint of the season. The Phillies bullpen also stays healthy, but that one's not going on file because I don't want to jinx it. 3 predictions locked. We'll hold every one of them. Liberty, Beck week 1, Gibbs production. And worth remembering, the roster Vivian just bet her credibility on is the one that's carrying a Betnijah Laney-Hamilton shaped hole in it. All right, that is the show. Liberty, Beck, Gibbs, all of it on the record, and we'll be checking back. I feel good about everything I said today, just putting that out there.
The receipts are already filed, Reggie, so feel as good as you want.
One of these days, those receipts are going to be empty, and I will not be humble about it. And the Mets will win a pennant, and the sun will rise in the west. Some things we just keep waiting on. You have a Phillies bullpen prediction you wouldn't even put on file, so let's not talk about waiting. Fair enough. Thanks to Reggie, thanks to Vivian, and to everyone listening. We'll catch you next time. That's a wrap. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe and enjoy the rest of your day.